Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another uh, meeting session as part of the ongoing Wasali Summit. I am Samira. I'm going to be the host for today. How are you all? I hope you guys had a good sleep and have taken your breakfast and are ready to deep dive in our tech showcase on transportation and electrification. For our Oh, that's okay. For our first speaker today, we have uh, Ben Arif from Souls Energy, and we have Z-Wave from Sustaino. A little insight on our first speaker, Ben. He graduated from Cardiff Metropolitan University in Wales in 2013, 8 years of experience in business development, specializing in corporate partnerships across financial institutions and in the renewable energy sector. Now he's the head of business development for Souls Energy, focused on collaborating with corporates to help reach the ESG targets through solar energy adoption. Please welcome Head of Business Development of Souls Energy, Ben Arif Azman.
Hi Ben, you're good to go.
Hi. Okay. Hi. Morning, everyone. Thanks. First, thanks for inviting me. For this lovely event. I think like the platform looks absolutely amazing. And yeah. Let me start sharing my screen, and then we can start. So yeah, can you guys see my screen? Perfect. Yeah. So just to introduce myself again. So my name is Ben. And I head the business development unit at Souls Energy. And I've been with Souls for about 3 years, and I focus on mainly corporate partnerships to help corporates with their ESG targets in Malaysia, right? So let me just introduce a little bit about Souls Energy. So we're a green energy company. We predominantly focus on solar adoption for the residential segment in Malaysia, and we've been doing so for about 8 years now. So we've been in the market for about 8 years. Just a little bit of a snapshot on the company. We've done over 1,000 residential installations to date, and I think what set us apart with other typical solar companies is that we have our own solar academy for our workforce, right? So I just wanted to touch a bit more about the solar academy because I think this is like a very interesting fact to share. So we are the only solar academy in Malaysia, and what we do is that on an annual basis we train about um, 100 students, which comes from underprivileged communities such as Sabah and Sarawak, and also Orang Asli youth. So the aim of the Solar Academy is to provide them with scalable skills, which upon graduation and earning all of their certifications, they are able to choose whether to work with Source Energy or have a job opportunity elsewhere. So I feel this is like a good way that we are giving back to the opportunities. But from the business side of view, what this enables us to do is that we do not outsource any of the installations that we do, and it also allows us to have very close quality checks on all the installations that we complete, right? And I wanted to share. a little bit about one of our very successful story, which is Boy. And he comes from an Orang Asli family from Kampung Pasar in Pahang. So he joined the academy a few years back, and he graduated. But fast forward to today, he is actually one of our installation manager, and he manages his own installation team within the company. So he is like our poster boy, sort of, for our solar academy, right? So I also wanted to touch on what is the actual problem in Malaysia at the moment. So in Malaysia, there is about 2 million homes that are suitable for solar adoption. However, to date, there is actually less than, it's a very small number, it's actually less than 50,000 homes that actually have gotten solar so far. So, of course, there's a few main problems, but I wanted to speak about why it is good for solar adoption in Malaysia today. So, in Malaysia, we have a net energy metering policy that was launched about 3 years back. And compared to the net energy metering policy around the world, I would say it is one of the best so far, because the tariff that you are able to offset is at a one-to-one basis compared to other countries where it's one to less. Um, and because our market is mainly in Malaysia, so we are actually blessed with about 3.5 sun hours on a daily basis, which is more compared to other countries. So why are they only a fraction of this number? Have adopted solar so far is down to a few main problems, right? I think the exposure to the net energy metering policy itself can be improved. And also, the second thing is people have a lot of misconception about solar adoption itself, which we try to help. And I'll talk about that later on how we try to help this, right? Um, from my experience dealing with the residential people, it is usually, for example, like they think for you to be able to install solar in your home, you need to be like an engineer. You need to be like you need to have like super technical knowledge, and of course, like the main problem is also the cost of solar, which we have been working closely with a lot of banks to try to solve this problem, right? So I wanted to touch a bit more, just so that everyone have like a clear context on how the net energy metering policy works in Malaysia. So the solar panels essentially like absorb sunlight and it converts it to DC energy, right? And through the inverter, it converts it to AC energy that powers your home during the day. So with the net energy metering policy, every excess energy that is generated that is unused is sent back to the grid, where Tenaga Nasional, which is the utility company in Malaysia, they automatically offset your electricity bill on a monthly basis. So with this policy, it actually allows all the users to save up to 80% of their electricity bill, which is a very significant amount. So but that is during the daytime. During the nighttime, power is still pulled from the grid unless you have a battery installed with your solar system, right? So how do we solve the problem of the misconception and the lack of exposure of the policy to the Malaysian public? So one is we work with big corporates, and we find big corporates that are focused on ESG, and we try to help them change internally with their employees first, right? So we launch a corporate employee program with corporates, whereby there are specific benefits that the corporate gets, but at the same time, it is providing education and access to solar energy to their employees. So I wanted to speak about one of the first programs that we launched about 2 years ago, which was with Petronas. So this corporate employee program was launched because Petronas wanted to move more towards ESG, and they wanted to have a cultural shift internally within the company. So they worked with us to create this corporate employee program. So within the first 2 weeks of launch of this corporate employee program that we did with Petronas, there was over 2,000 employees signed up, and to date, we already have um, I I think this number is not updated because we have about 700 Petronas employees that have installed solar through the program. But what that actually means is that we have able to generate about 4.26 megawatts worth of clean energy just by solar adoption from the employees itself. So this is actually equivalent to, in terms of environmental benefits, it's equivalent to removing over 3 million kilograms of CO2 from the atmosphere. It's also equivalent to um, 1.4 million kilograms of coal burn. And it's also equivalent to planting about 77,000 trees. And the interesting thing about these benefits is that it is not a one-off, it's on an annual basis, right? I also wanted to add that through this program, to date, all of the employees that participated accumulatively were able to save about 2.9 million total in savings of their electricity bill, right? So when we speak to these programs, when we speak to the corporates, this is the few things that we tell them that we will help address, right? So the first thing is that it's zero cost to the organization. We provide the corporates with real data for their environmental report. And how we create the program is as we make it as an employee benefits. So talking about employee benefits, and because we've worked with multiple number of corporates, it is very interesting to see how corporates approach the employee benefits problem, right? So I just wanted to share that one of the corporation that we work with, um, they made this employee program as an employee benefit, whereby so every company has claimable benefits. For example, you can claim going to the dentist, to the optician, and there's a certain budget for that, right? So they allocated a huge chunk of that budget for the employee to offset their solar purchase, which is, I think, very interesting, and it shows that they are very serious with their employees participating in ESG. So another benefit of this program that we launched is that we allow the employees to have active participation in carbon offsetting, and also participate in CSR activities for the underprivileged communities that are off grid, right? So what comes together with the program is, like I mentioned, the CSR activities that we will provide for the corporate employees, which is what we call Kampung Solar, right? So I just wanted to touch that the impact of doing this program within the organization is what we do is we provide solar lights to off-grid communities, and I will touch that in a bit. But just the impact of installing 50 solar lights to off-grid communities is that you are allowing the orang asli people to save about 73,000 ringgit a year, right? And you are allowing them also to have about 4,500 worth of productivity hours in the villages itself, right? So just to share a bit more on that is that, so one of the orang asli or kampung solar program that we do is in Perak, right? This year. So I wanted to share a story about a family in Perak whereby on a daily basis, so they plant banana trees, right? And on a daily basis, it takes them about 4 to 5 hours of journey from their village to sell their banana trees. And they are only able to travel by bike. And per travel, they can only carry one bunch of banana, right? And for every travel or every trip that they make, they get about 80 ringgit if they sell 3 bunches of bananas, which means they have to travel at least 3 times within a day, right? And if you calculate in a month, they will only be able to generate about 320 ringgit worth of income and the amount that they pay for electricity is absurd, right? Because they are off grid. So what we pay in the city for electricity, so 4 ringgit Malaysian ringgit gives you about 720 hours of electricity. But when you are off grid, 4 ringgit only gives you 2 hours of electricity, right? um, Per day they spend about 20 ringgit for about 4 hours of electricity, which doesn't make sense. So what we do is we provide them with solar lights. um, yes, solar lights, which is 58 times cheaper, and this is funded by the corporates that we work with, um, as part of their CSR initiative within the scope of our program, right? So the solar lights are able to work for about 8 hours. 8 years, and they only need to purchase it once. And it is donated by our corporate partners to these families, right? So this year alone in Perak, there are 96 registered orang asli homes, and we've been able to fund solar lights for each of these 96 orang asli homes. So this also means that we are able to raise their productivity hours about 4 to 8 hours additional within a week, which means that they no longer have to go through a day whereby they do not have any electricity at home, right? So through our corporate partnerships, these are the few SDG goals that we try to achieve, right? So we work with orang asli for SDG goal number 8. We work with orang asli youth by training them to be solar technicians, and providing them with job opportunities. So we try to focus on SDG 7 as well. So through the Green Homes program, we allow or we enable easy access to corporate employees. So we try to touch on SDG goal number 13 as well, because for all the installations that we do, we have a built-in app whereby every solar user are able to track how much they are saving, how much of clean energy they are generating, and how much does this mean in terms of contribution to the environment, right? And we also try to touch on SDG 13 and 10, whereby we help corporate employees have a better engagement with CSR activities that relates to environmental contribution and creating of green energy. So yeah, I think that's 15 minutes. And that's it for me. So if I wasn't able to touch more in depth on some of the programs that we do, please feel free to reach out to me and I'll be happy to have a chat.
All right, thank you so much, Ben, for the inciting presentation. Once again, I want to make an announcement that if you have any questions for Ben, please drop your questions in the chat box and make sure it's sent to everyone and not nearby so we can all see the question. Uh, at this point, we'll be moving into the Q&A session, but I just wanted to ask Ben to touch more about how this project influenced the Orang Asli community. I'm aware that the human productivity labor for the Orang Asli community is like way below the other communities in the country. And I just want to ask, in terms of in the long term, how does this project seem to improve that?
So number one, um, thanks for the question, Samira. So number one, our main goal is of course to provide energy first to the off-grid communities, and why we try to do so is because um, what they are able to do on a daily basis, which also means in terms of looking for income, is based around the amount of energy that they have during the day. And through our Orang Asli or Kampung Solar program, right, it has actually grown, whereby some of the Orang Asli people who are not okay, so there are villages that are not touched by our corporate partners yet, And what our program allows the villages that we have already touched is we allow them to be agents whereby they can sell the solar lights to neighboring villages as well. So this also gives them opportunity to have additional income, and also at the same time educate them on the importance of having energy within their villages.
Thank you so much for your answer. Uh, Going back to the corporate program with employees, is one of the goals like having like a spillover effect from like having the employees install the solar systems in hopes of influencing the rest around them? Have we seen any effect in that sense?
Yes. So I would say yes, because okay, so for example, when we started our business um, a few years back, the adoption of solar, according to our data, was predominantly from people with the age of, I would say, 50 years old and above, meaning the people that wanted to purchase solar few years back before we actually launch any of our programs, people who, number one, they are already aware about solar adoption. Number two, they are actually doing it because they want to, they want to go super green, they really want to contribute to the environment. It is less about saving, it is less about the amount of savings they can get from their electricity bill from adopting solar. Fast forward today, when we already have about 1,000 installations, the age group that are adopting solar is going lower and lower. So now you actually have people that are aged 24 to 35 adopting solar, because they don't actually only see it as contributing it to the environment, but it is also about saving through the energy metering policy.
I think that a lot of people in the younger age bracket are now more like they have more knowledge on solar energy and its benefits, as you said, than older age groups. So, is there like a way where we can influence like the older age groups to be more encompassing of solar energy?
Yes. So one of the things that we are currently working on with a lot of the financial institutions to make solar more accessible to the younger age group. Because when you think about solar in Malaysia, or maybe even around the world, the main challenge is the capex that is involved. So what we have been doing is working with financial institutions to come up with a financial plan and financing options that is applicable to the younger age group. Um, Building on that, we are also introducing a new purchase option whereby it is actually zero capex to the users, but that has not been launched yet.
Okay, that's very interesting. We have one question from Isha. She said, like you mentioned that you joined Solar Energy 3 years ago. May we know what inspired you to join Soul's Energy?
So for me, I was before I joined Souls Energy, I was mainly working in financing institutions and banks. But I had a chance to meet with one of the leaders in Souls Energy. And I think the story that he told me about why he started the company was very compelling. And I think it reflects through all the efforts and initiatives that he has done to date, right? It is, he imagined that one day there would be, so he wanted to solve the problem whereby everyone or every household in the country should have easy access to clean energy. And I think working towards that, like the challenge itself, is what made me wanted to join Souls Energy. I thought it was like a very interesting problem to solve.
I think one of the greatest inspirations is having like an issue to solve and then working from there. Youth there's like greater influence towards everything. Just going back to when you mentioned that there aren't actually save money and product and have like higher productivity hours. And 4 ringgits is worth 720 hours in the city, but like it's only 2 hours of electricity outside. Like, what is causing this disparity, and why is why haven't we had like any interventions from like the government or someone to make cleaner energy such as like solar energy cheaper and more affordable to them, so they can have more electricity and like a lesser disparity compared to like the city?
Yeah. So I think the main problem in why the cost is so expensive is there is still no infrastructure set up yet to touch on these communities that are off grid. And also the cost is so high because the way they are getting energy, and this is just to light up like a few light bulbs at home, right, for a few hours, is they are still using the traditional method of using kerosene, um, generators, and on top of it being harmful to the environment, it is also very costly, especially if you are off grid, meaning to say that you are far from the city. So the cost of getting the equipment and also like kerosene itself contributes a lot to why it is so expensive. But yes, I agree, like I think the government um, should look into building the appropriate infrastructure to make the disparity less. But we hope that through our program, we can contribute to that effort as well.
All right, thank you, Ben. uh, I just want to remind everyone that you can drop any questions in the chat box for Ben, and also moving forward for the second tech showcase. I just want to go back to, uh, is it mainly that, has your only corporate partner been like Petronas, or has there been like other companies interested in joining the whole employee benefits with the solar energy?
So we started off with Petronas, and because of the success with Petronas, we tried to replicate that with other corporates. So to date, I would say we have about 9 or 10 corporate partners, and it's not just oil and gas companies per se. We A few of our corporate partners are also banks who we actually work with to come up with the solar financing to make solar adoption more feasible.
All right, thank you. We have one more question from Nalindra. Ben, throughout your journey in the work that you're doing, do you have any mentor? Have you had any mentor?
For me, so I do, and my mentor is actually the founder of the company itself. His name is Teacher Raj, and I have been learning a lot from him. And so like I mentioned earlier, like the story that he told me about what he wanted to achieve, his dreams. I think today I share the same dream as well. So yeah, I think he have a very good leadership within the organization itself, and a very clear goal on what he wants to do in terms of sustainability for the country.
I think it's really inspiring to have someone that you can mirror in terms of like the actions that I've done. It's like it just pushes you forward more to like your goals and all.
Correct.
Sorry, thank you, Ben. I think we now will be moving on to our second showcase for today, which is from Sustaino. Up next, we have our second showcase, which from Z-Way. Our speaker graduated with a bachelor's in aerospace engineering and in spacecraft design and engineering. He pursued a doctorate degree in Auckland University for a short period after dropping out of the graduate study in 2014. She started my renewable energy career in Malaysia. She's also focusing on solar PV system, energy design, covering mechanical and electrical segments. When she realized her interest was to design solar systems and with optimum and reliable performance, she founded a solar company that provides engineering, procurement, construction, and commission services. Please welcome the technical director of Sustaino, Ziwei.
Thank you, Ansi, for the introduction. So, is that everyone can hear me? Hello, hello.
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay. So let me share my screen first. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes,
Can
we
you see?
can.
All right, all right. So good morning, everyone. Thank you, MC, and thank you, Ben, for the sharing, and thank you all for coming. So today I'm bringing a little introduction of technical and commercial about solar photovoltaic, or so-called the solar PV system. Okay.
Sorry, Ziwe, to cut you short, but we can see your speaker notes.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. So how do I uh hide my speaker notes? It's okay. I think you can see my speaker note, no problem. Maybe it helps you to understand more, right? Okay. So first of all, I would like to introduce a little bit about what we are doing. So I'm also the founder of Sustaino. Okay. Sustaino is a solar PV EPCC. EPCC is stand for engineering, procurement, construction, and commissioning respectively. So by looking on the wording, you can see that we actually is an engineering company that provide design and build services for the solar system owner. So Sustainable stand for sustainable innovation. So uh, I always dreaming to become an innovative engineer or inventor. So 6 years later, 6 years ago, a startup company, I try very hard to picture how is the company going to be. I love innovation, but innovation is time consuming and costing a lot of money. Therefore, an innovative idea must as well be able to sustain our company. It's a simple yet important guideline, okay, for us to make decision. And I'm going to show you a very simple uh, example on how we achieve innovation and sustainable. As you can see, this is a typical energy logging device. And then in order to come out a proposal for our client, you actually need to install an energy logger to collect the client's consumption pattern. Okay. However, as you can see, one logger costs us around RM 20K. So it is unrealistic, okay, for a startup company like us. And in some timing, you might actually need 5 to 10 loggers to install at all our client site. So because you cannot buy only one logger and then wait 1 week and 1 week, okay, until you can complete all proposal. So with, let's say, 10 loggers, you actually need to spend 200,000. Okay, for a company like us, I think it's not realistic. Okay, therefore we start tinkering, okay, on our DIY breadboard. And then the first prototype at the right hand side, the black box, okay, actually get first. So of course there are many versions of prototype. Here we skip the detail. And then with a lot of tons of time and effort on the field test, finally we confirm our system single line, as you can see on the left side. And then you actually launch our first minimum viable product. So what is the result? I can share you, okay, after our innovative idea and then our technical solution, actually, we save around 200,000, like I mentioned before, if you purchase 10 unit of the logger, okay, like Elon Musk did to his rocket, okay. Besides having our problem solved, you still remember that we need logging to come out a proposal, okay. We also provide the logging service to our competitor, and sometimes actually this service to another competitor actually generating 5 figures sales monthly to our company. Okay, so we also have some innovation on the product itself. So by comparing to the market product, actually our product only need to measure on the current data. Okay, for the market products, you need to actually measure both voltage and current. So by measuring the voltage data, our engineer need to do live tapping to the existing electrical board. I bet Mr. Ben also aware about this. Okay, so with this innovation, okay, actually we eliminate this risky motion, okay, and then we help our company to save a lot of costing, and then it also help us to generate additional monthly income. Okay. So the next one I would like to introduce is our business model. Basically, we have two types of models. So overall, the first one is the outright purchase, which is the roof owner they engage us as a service provider. We design and build the solar system for them. So secondly is so-called PPA, which we invest the solar system for the roof owner and the owner enjoy cheaper and greener energy. Yes, we are selling electricity on behalf of TMB. Okay. And first of all is the outright purchase. Actually, solar is a energy business. So in most of the country, energy is a monopoly and political game. Okay. Especially solar in Malaysia. Any policy decision will highly impact the solar market development, such as the tax incentive. Like Ben mentioned just now, solar is a very expensive system. So without the tax incentive support, actually, I mean, the owner will have a few more reluctant to invest into this solar system. Besides the politic, in order for the system owner to acquire solar generation license, there are many authorities approval you need to get, such as TMB, ST is Suruhanjaya Tenaga, and then SEDA, MIDA, etc. And solar system is a relatively new technology. So there is no long story design guideline or standard to follow, like the Econ, the AHU, something like that. Therefore, the design standard is always changing. You will have to follow up closely to the regulatory authority, and then you have to react accordingly. If you don't follow, you might cause your project, your project might not get the generating license. So in conclusion, although we are EPCC, but our services are far more than an EPCC. We need to guide our client to go through the political, from political to the engineering process. The next one I want to, before introduce our second business model, which is PPA, I would like to introduce the typical energy business model in Malaysia. So first of all, actually, everyone thought you might thought that TMB is the energy producer. No, actually, TMB is just a distribution license. Means they buy electricity from the IPP. IPP stand for independent power producer, and then they sell the electricity or they distribute the electricity to the end user. For example, house owner lah, factory owner, something like that. Hello? Yes? Okay, so I continue, yeah. So yes, so TMB actually they purchase the power from the IPP, such as the coal plant, gas plant or hydro plant, so whoever who invests into this power plant, and then they sign a contract with the TMB, and TMB distribute the power to the end user. Okay, that's why I say that this is a monopoly game. So TMB or the some of the DL, only them can resell the electricity. So this is a new model, okay, which bring in or launched by our previous energy minister, Yobin. And after this program, you can see actually the market is no more monopolized by the big player. So now Sustainor is able to invest and build their own solar plant and sell the electricity to a particular end user. So in this case, Sustainor is a solar PV plant owner, and then we are IPP lah, so-called IPP. So solar is also a DL. So we are able to resell the electricity directly to the end user. So between Sustainor and the end user, there would be a agreement. So we can legally sell the electricity to the end user. So I bet you can have a feeling that TMP must be very anxious about this already. Okay, in this very freedom energy market, I believe it will accelerate the solar development in Malaysia as well as in the world. So next thing I want to talk about is how the solar impact the system owner. Okay, physically after you install the solar system, you will have additional two movement item in your premise. One is the solar panel. You can see beside the sun, there is the blue color panels. So this is a typical installation. We put the solar panel on the rooftop. So the second item is the inverter, this red color one. So the function of the inverter is to convert the solar power into the TNB compatible power source. Okay. So without the inverter, actually you can't use the solar power directly. And then this is actual data for you to see how the solar power impact your existing electrical system. So for the top picture, you can see this is a 10th of June. Okay, the red color is the consumption. Your plant, for example, your machinery lah, your aircon, this is their actual load. Okay, so the green color is your solar generation. So basically, by 10th of June, you can see from the top side, the blue color here, the solar actually generate almost 45% of the of your the plant electricity. And then if you look at the next day, the 12th of June, basically the solar produce more than 95% of the electricity for the owner. So basically on this day, the owner literally pay nothing to TNB. Okay, just a little bit more info for your information. This plant owner, they are paying like almost 50,000 monthly to TNB. So you can see the impact in some particular day. The owner pay nothing to TNB. Okay, I hope this data can provide you a very straightforward picture to see, how the solar system can save your operation cost significantly. So the same pattern can be applied to your home as well if you install the solar system on your house. Okay. Okay. So for the next coming session, I'm going to provide you some insight about the solar system. So it is obvious that the solar has significant advantage by comparing to the traditional power plant. Okay. First of all, solar is a green energy. It helps us to fight climate change, of course, because it has no any CO2 or any other harmful emission gas. Okay. Secondly, energy security, especially the recent Ukraine war. There are many Euro country they facing energy raw mat shortage issue. They can't buy the gas from Russia. So if you adopt solar, congratulations. The raw mat is always delivered to you on time. Every day 7 in the morning until 7 in the evening. This is energy security, and then uh, solar compared to other RE source. Okay, we have hydro, wind turbine, geothermal type turbine, etc. So by comparing to this RE source, actually solar has significant advantage because it doesn't have moving parts like the turbine. Therefore, by comparing to wind turbine, geothermal type turbine, everything hydro, actually solar only need very minimum maintenance, and then the downtime is very extremely low. So besides of that, solar panel can install on rooftop or on an empty land, basically literally everywhere. Unlike the wind turbine and hydro, which the location and the environment requirement is very particular. You need to do the study minimum 1 year if you want to install a wind turbine farm. So last but not the least, okay, I would like to bring more insight about the future of solar. Okay, I believe in the coming future we can slowly eliminate the domination of TNB because the solar system can eventually become a standalone system. And it will become a standard system whenever you purchase your new home, like aircon the auto gate so I hope this would be our future. And then lastly, what is our solar problem? What is the obstacle we are facing now? Okay. Basically it's the storage problem because solar performance is highly depends on the weather. So whenever there is a small piece of cloud on the solar panel, on top of solar panel, or raining days, so the solar performance will be changing quickly, very fluctuating. So you cannot rely on this kind of unstable power source. So the solution is to add storage system. Current promising solution is to add the lithium ion battery. Although it's still very expensive, but this is a promising solution. So with the battery and the solar system, actually you can build a standalone system already. No more TNB is needed. And then, however, what exciting us is that there is another alternative of storage, which is a so-called hydrogen. And then, hydrogen is the cleanest power source in the earth, not in the universe. I don't know. So, because the final product of the hydrogen is only water, a very clean water which you can directly drink. Okay, so that's all for my sharing. So I believe also 15 minutes is up. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ziwei, for your presentation. I just wanted to touch more about the political to the engineering process. Like how long does this usually take on average?
Oh, okay, okay. Because depends on the the actual political condition. Like last year, actually in Malaysia, the political environment is very bad. It's very chaos and then many changes. So by 2020, our normal authority progress, maybe it take us like 2 to 3 months. By by last year, 2021, some project it might drag from 6 months until 8 months to get the authority approval. So this is a very serious problem.
It is. Do you feel like you get a little bit of resistance on that end, considering that you've mentioned in the future you have plans of eliminating TNB as like this the monopoly for like electricity? Like, are you facing any resistance in that situation?
Actually, yes, actually, firstly, you were facing the technical problem. For example, now actually the lithium ion is quite expensive, and then the solar itself is also quite expensive at this moment. So both system in combination, if you want to build a standalone system, yes. If you are very rich, yes, actually now is achievable. But economic wise, I don't think so at this moment. So we might need at least 5 to 10 years, but it's very quick already.
Yeah, 5 to 10 years is a lot of a lot of time, but I hopefully like the gap shortens as we proceed. I'm seeing a
Yeah.
few questions in the chat box. One from Diana: how much does it usually cost for a home to purchase solar panels usually, and how long is it the life expectancy for the solar panels?
Oh, okay. So now actually the solar system, the costing, I mean, depends on your rooftop area and then as well as your TNB bill, your consumption. So the cheapest you can buy is, if I not remember wrong, because I'm from engineering, I'm from not from the BD. I think 5 to 6 thousand is the minimum cost you can buy from, and then up to maybe 50, 60 thousand, and it depends on your TMB bill. And then the longest history in the solar system, I mean, the first solar system until now, already over, I think, 30 to 40 years. I mean, the solar system. So like I mentioned before, solar system has no moving part. You just install firmly on your rooftop, and then they will keep on producing power for you. So besides of that, the solar manufacturer, they also provide you two kind of warranty. First is the 10 years to 12 years product warranty. So in between the warranty period, any problem happen to the solar system, they will give you a replacement. And then second warranty is the performance warranty. They give you minimum 25 years performance warranty. What it means is that from the first year up to 25 years, they will have the power degradation. So they will guarantee you, okay, for example, the first year you have 100% performance. They guarantee you at the 25th years, you will still have 85% performance. So you see, the 25 years period, the degradation is 15%. Whenever bigger than this, they will give you a replacement or remuneration. Yeah, so I think the sol that's why solar is so famous, and then I believe this is a future trend.
All right, like if the initial cost might be a little scary, but like spread out throughout all those years, it's more economical.
Yeah, correct. Now you can expect like 5 years you will get the return of the investment.
Mm.
Yeah, averagely.
We have a question from Isha. She said, both you and Ben say that solar energy systems are expensive. How do we make this more accessible for low income communities?
Uh, I think the government and the manufacturer they are doing the effort. They are trying to come out many financial plan. For example, you can utilize the credit card or the so-called loan installment, so you can how to say spread your burden. For example, now actually you can pay as low as like 80 ringgit per month to own a solar system. I think the whole market, the government is doing their effort lah, to help all of the citizens to own a solar system.
As to be able to include like all um, everyone from each community to from like to be able to afford the solar energies. Moving on to our next question, Fisha asks, are there any retail solar stuff that we can get to use all over Southeast Asia, or is it just for certain countries?
Can you repeat the question?
Are there any solar stuff we can get to use all over Southeast Asia, or is it just for a certain countries?
Actually, now our service is only covered in Malaysia. Sorry. I hope we can expand our business to to more country.
Uh, Okay. Uh, Moving on, like you mentioned the race to net zero. How is your company, how is Sustaino rather, uh, incorporating all the players in like into from like the government to the community to reach the net zero goal?
You mean how we promote the solar system? Can I say that?
How you promote the solar system and how you would incorporate all the players from like because the race to net zero would involve like a lot of people, so how would it go from like the government to the communities to like everyone to an individual level to for the to net zero?
You mean okay. I try to answer the question because I didn't 100% catch the question. Okay, so what we are doing is we try our best to improve our system design because like I mentioned before, the solar system is a very new technology. Until now, there is a very short history for a solar system design standard. In Malaysia, there is more, no, I think only 12 years or 14 years after our first Malaysia's design guideline come out. So until now, the government or the standard party still trying to improve the design standard. So in Malaysia, all the solar EPCC, we also trying our best to adapt the latest or most state of the art solar design standard. So this is what why we are doing this, because we hope we can design a solar system which literally the owner is worry free. Okay, after you install, you no need to worry about the after sales maintenance, everything. You will just believe to the solar system, and then it will continuously produce the solar energy to you. So I believe if all the solar EPC or sustainable, we can optimize the design and the installation quality of the system. I believe more and more people they will also believe into this solar system. I believe until now there are still many people they don't believe. Yeah, they don't believe the solar actually can perform. That's why I show you the actual performance data. Yes, the solar always there, and then the performance is promising. Yeah. So this is the only the first part we can do. So we increase the reliability of the solar system. So the next thing we can do is we try we try to lower down the installation cost through the design optimization. Okay, so it is very hard. So you have to highly adapt or understand the engineering design formula. So only when you well understand the design standard or the theory of the solar system, only you can optimize the solar design, and then only you can lower down the cost from there because there are many players in the market. They are not really familiar with the design, but they will find their own way, a layman way to reduce the system cost. But this will, how to say, compromise the quality of the solar system. So I believe these are the two main direction we are going. First is we increase the reliability of the solar system so that people get less worry about to take care the solar system. Secondly, we try to lower down the system cost by optimizing the design instead of compromising the quality. Yeah, I have answer your question maybe.
Yeah, you have. I have one last question from Chuck. He said it's more of a technical question. What is your comments on the advancement of photocatalytic fuel cell in the near future? And also, could you, for those of us who don't know, could you explain what photocatalytic fuel cell is?
Photocatalytic fuel cell. Actually, I'm not really understand what kind of technology is this, but I can share more about how the solar system, integrate together with the hydrogen technology. Okay, there are two part of the I think I can introduce in two parts. So the first part is the hydrogen production. Okay, so basically, do you know how we get the hydrogen? You cannot get the hydrogen out nothing from the air. Okay, first you need to how to say catalyze from the water. Sorry, not catalyze, electrolyze from the water. So you need energy to electrolyze the water, so the water will extract the oxygen and the hydrogen. This is where we capture the hydrogen. Okay, first step we have the hydrogen. So the next step you want to convert the hydrogen into the power. You need fuel cell system. So the fuel cell is you can see as a generator, a genset. So not a common genset, they need gas or gasoline or fuel to to generate power. So for fuel cell, your input is hydrogen. So you fill in the hydrogen, and then with the catalyst inside, the hydrogen will combine or react with the oxygen and produce electricity. This is the two main part or so-called two main technology for the hydrogen application. So hopefully I have answered your question. And then because after you see the explanation, you see first step you have to produce hydrogen. Second step you use the hydrogen to produce energy. So actually the production of hydrogen you need a lot of electricity. And then it is no point for you to use the coal plant energy to produce hydrogen. This is a very I can say not a very correct concept in order for us to go toward green recovery. That's why the best way to produce hydrogen, the energy should be from green energy. It's either solar or it's either from the wind turbine or hydro, anything. So we use solar or green energy to produce hydrogen. And then hydrogen will act as the any energy storage. And then we use fuel cell and then we fill in the hydrogen and then it will produce electricity. This is a whole picture.
Thank you for walking us through that. And Chuck, I hope that answers your question. Moving on, I think this marks the end of our session. And I'd like to thank you, Ziwei from Sustaino and also Ben from Souls Energy. Uh,
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you all so much. Uh, Join us for the next session at 11:30 to 12:30 p.m. for a virtual tour to Sumbling Eco Village. Sumbling Eco Village offers an ecotourism experience in Brunei as they try to have a positive effect on the environment and minimize the impacts of ecological effects on the environment. Their guests will discover the rainforest with the help of experienced and knowledgeable locals, as well as an experienced teams with more than 10 years of experience. While we cannot be in Brunei at this time, our local partner Fisha went down there to capture the experience for us, and we'll be watching a short film for about 30 minutes. And and then have a short Q&A with the managing director of Stumbling Eco Village, Leslie Chang. So I'll see you in Zoom at 11:30. And before that, I have a few announcements. We are facing a little bit of technical difficulties on House Space, which is affecting the reading assignments and the eco challenge and the vlogging portion. So this might not be available to you right now, but this issue will be resolved by Monday and will be up and ready for you to be there. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Ben and Ziwei, and I hope to see everyone at 11:30 on Zoom for our eco tour, virtual tour.